thing, somebody picks up a phone. Hello, ma. I learned there's a vacancy in the school. In your school. Yes. What did you study? NCE. The next thing is, how much is the salary? And I just begin to see, there's a person who is talking with me on phone. Right? Even the English is kwashiorkor-like. And I begin to wonder, the person who has just spoken with me, did he or she really go through the NCE thing? And is it not worth it you bring your papers and let me even see you and interview you and do what we have called micro teaching from my school before we employ you? So this is it. Parents will bring their children to my school. They've just withdrawn the children from another school to bring to your school. And they just tell you, she's in SS2. This girl has not actually finished her primary or just barely finished her primary. You know what I do? Sorry, sir. Where is the transfer certificate? Not available. All right. You know what we do in this school? We first of all give them exams. We call it test. Pre-qualification test. And the parents and the children will see their results. You are going to SS2, Abi, you are already SS2, or they will bring out SS2 questions, English, mathematics, and maybe social studies and so on. Sit down, that's the hour, and do the papers. And then it is then you now find some parents will begin to beg. And you see, the thing is, I just see it's growing big. Is that the answer? Is that the solution? No. A child must have good foundation to build on. So you see, that's why I said all of us are in this thing. The owner of the schools. Is it that they want money? Okay, their child who just finished schooling, secondary, or maybe polytechnic, cannot even write good sentence. All right? And the next thing is, he or she feels, well, if I cannot get a job, at least I can be a politician. At least I can be a senator. And then you have a senator who cannot produce anything. So, politics, may the Lord deliver us. And of course, it is because of money. Some don't mind getting that money anywhere, anyhow. As long as they get it, and then bring it out to buy their political position, get innocent children trapped. That's why I keep saying we need God's intervention. That had not been the situation. It's just been introduced by the current economic, don't ask me why, in this country, right? If you've really got job, or by grace of God you've got something doing, you must get rich quick. Oh, the thing is, there's a type of vehicle now that I need to buy. Oh, there is this and that. And if you don't get a job yet and you manage to go through the secondary school, why is it that children of 7 planning to sell their parents, their father, or, because of, do you say it's because of get rich quick syndrome? There's some malady somewhere, some madness somewhere. That's why I said it requires prayers. But however, basically, it requires a change in attitude. And that must come from the top. That must come. There were days when we have governors, right? And people call them mad dogs. I know I won't mention names. The one we had in Kwara. He will go around projects in the night. May he rest in peace. He died. Maybe you know him. You know the person I'm talking about. He will go around projects in the night. And during council meeting, he will now say, yes, that project is so, let the commissioner begin to tell lies. He will not know that the governor had been there to assess it himself in the night before. You see, we must know what we're doing. We must wake up to responsibilities. And bribe is all over the place. Even the woman that sells tomatoes in the market is a corrupt person. Ask me, why must she have spoiled tomatoes underneath and put them brilliantly red good ones at the top? What do you call that? Corruption? Or the brother? Is it the small sister? Corruption is all over the place. And that's why we need God's intervention. But you see, God will not come down to change us. God will not come down. We need leaders who with their stick in hand will say, no, it must not, it must stop. No, it must not go further. And when I mean leaders, I don't mean president alone or governors alone. Leaders even in the homes.
Okay, at what point do you think this change came up?
Yes, at what point? Can we really focus on any point as such? Because you have indiscipline at home, you have parents, because to the glory of God, I now have a school. So I now can give you a good example of what's happening. Children pass exams. So it's ridiculous. So the fault is with parents, like I've said, fault with the teachers who get themselves involved in that mess, particularly if the owners of the school were not attentive enough to know that something is going on wrong. In fact, it's with the society, the homes, everywhere, every one of us. One way or the other have our faults. And then, of course, the government has not made things easy. The government has not really made things easy, particularly in the area of education. I'll say this boldly because, like I said, I have a school. And I can see what's happening in the school, even though it's a private school, other schools around me. And I will say to myself, God, I'm a farmer, an agriculturist. You've spoken to me. Why don't I just go in and see what I can do to make a change? But I'm trying by your grace to make a change in my niche, my small corner. But will this be effective nationwide with the kind of thing we see today? Yes.
All right,
we need God's intervention.
All right, madam, can you tell us how old were you when Nigeria got her independence, and what were the thoughts, feelings, and expectations of an average Nigerian then?
1960. Right, I think I was about 17 years old then. Just barely left primary school, getting into the secondary school. And of course, with a change, people get excited about changes. And it's a thing, we've been getting information that the white people are ruling us. And then we are going to have ourselves being in charge and in control of our lives, and like big changes, positive changes, particularly for us who are in school, thinking there'll be more money for our parents, and the progress will be fast and we'll be okay.
So thinking about the expectation of Nigerians in terms of we are going to rule ourselves, we are going to be our leaders.
That's right.
Our own country, and do a whole lot of things. Do you think those dreams have actually come to bear in Nigeria today?
To some extent. Why to some extent? You have to look through, like, having a hind knowledge of what happened before this present time that we're in. Our founding fathers had very good intention, and then they put their words into practice, about their desire to have changes. Like, I remember in those days, we have Leventis, we have all these companies and big stores handled by Nigerians, most things being done, the traditional things we used to have and cherish, they were on, and education was into some parts of the country made free, and life was real good then, much better than what we have now. Yes.
So at what point would you say it started changing?
At what point? You see, changes come gradual. To my mind, as far as I'm concerned, I will not say categorically that it started from this period to this period, right? Because we started having changes in government, democracy sometimes, military in another, and I would not want to say that it's changed in a particular period. But as men become more greedy, more self-conscious, corruptions coming in here and there, then of course, and it should be me and me and me and me and my family, then the interest, personal interest started coming in, and things begin to get from bad to worse and to worse to the present situation we find ourselves now. Yes.
All right. How would you rate the leaders then, and comparing it with what we have now in our political system?
To my mind, and I think this is the truth, our leaders then were more concerned about the development of the country, more straightforward. The greed was not as manifested as it is now. Things produced in Nigeria, the producers were encouraged. Like in those days, we have timber, we have pyramids of groundnuts. We were producing for ourselves, and things were relatively cheap. Oh, cheaper than what if I remember in 1971 when I got my first car, it was only for 3,500. I cannot get a second-hand tire today for 3,500. So I got a whole car then for 3,500. And even in 83, I got a whole Peugeot car for 7,500. If you get a second-hand tire for 7,500, now you think, wow. Then people were interested in making Nigeria great. They have greater thoughts, ideas about lifting the country to a very high heights. But now, if the desires are there, they're not manifested. So the difference is just big, just clear. And the effect is that we are more impoverished. People are poor. The educational standard is very bad. Sometimes people ask me, are you trained in Nigeria? I said, yes, in Nigeria, Zaria, Kaduna, But now, you can hardly find a university graduate, speaking very good English. Not that we don't have people who are competent anyway, but we have people who are really, really very selfish. And it's not about thinking about the country first, but about their personal interest first. Which to some extent, in fact to a very large extent, was not the case in the past. And therefore, we cannot compare what we have then with what we are having now. The difference is just very clear, very marked. And yet, some of these people who have bastardized things, who are making things very hard for people, making situation hard economically for the people, actually enjoyed, the benefits of the good days.
From your own point of view, the experience of the Civil War and several agitations here and there, what are the lessons learned and the way forward?
Experience of the Civil War. As a matter of fact, I was not too young during when we had the Civil War. So I have some very good idea of what happened then. The unfortunate thing is, it's not that it affects only one part of the country. I was in Kwara State then and finished higher school certificate and was teaching in a community not far away from Ilorin. But you see, there are these checkpoints and all the things were so very, 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 very uncomfortable. We even learned that some people were brought down the vehicles and killed for maybe belonging to one part of the country or the other. But the question is, has this brought in any positive change to this country? Has it? Can we now say, even right now, when we have Boko Haram terrorism, has it brought positive changes? This bloodshed, this shedding of innocent blood, has that brought in a progress to the country? Civil war, because people were not satisfied. Are people satisfied with the way Nigerian is governed? Are we, not people, are we Nigerians satisfied with the way Nigerian is being governed? Even now, we're talking about civil war of some years back. Right now, there's agitation all over the place because people are not satisfied. And if we have a country where some people feel they are being treated as slaves, we don't feel comfortable. Even in homes, we're talking about the civil war. Are things not visibly seen as being tilted to one side? Some people more favored, some tribe more better favored. If we can build this, grow up to bring this country to this level, we must all. But if it is now becoming the idea that one part of the country not only even take more and, pretend they are not the progress of this country, development of this country, and yet are not recognized, and yet their efforts are not appreciated. If that be it, let's go our own way. Let's go our own separate ways.
Okay, what, in your own opinion, is the way forward?
When we talk about politics in this country, and when we talk about people desiring to occupy positions in authority, it is not that we don't have people who are qualified, genuinely interested in wanting to do some things in terms of changing the situation, removing corruption or reducing corruption to a level that that will not have negative effect on the people, improving on the economic development of the country. We have people who are qualified, and when they go campaigning, immediately they get there. To my mind, I think first is, how do we get back the money we have spent on the campaign? How do we recover this? So to my mind, it is not that we don't have people. Till we have a complete change of heart. Sometimes they even make things worse for you than you ever planned.
If you are to rate the leadership of the military rule and that of the civilian rule, would you say one is better than the other?
To my mind, a Nigerian is a Nigerian. When you say a country is moving from bad to worse, it's not whether he is a military uniform or in civilian garments. A Nigerian in fact, everyone is infested. When you talk about corruption, even in the market. So you need somebody who is a Nigerian, yes, because we're not going to bring an expatriate to rule over us, but who is God-fearing, who will do as I say, not as, and do as I do. Do more as I do than as I say.
So it doesn't matter even if it is in a military role or civilian.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because bring a military man now there, he has learned how the civilians keep money, steal money. And he would ask himself, by the way, why am I here? In this short period, before the civilian come over to take this government, don't I want to be rich? Don't I want my children to be very rich? He's a Nigerian, of course, being in khaki, in military uniform, outside military uniform. So to my mind, I'm just saying a Nigerian is a Nigerian. But there will definitely be a difference between a Nigerian who fears God, a Nigerian who will say, this is my lifestyle. This is what I want, positive movement. We must move ahead positively. We must develop. Things must change positively. The downtrodden one must not continue to live their lives that way. I'm determined to make a change. Sell that information out to the people. He gets appointed or he gets elected, and he does just that. Be him a military person or a civilian.
All right, madam. We are getting close to another electionary year.
Okay.
What would be your sole advice to politicians, electorates, and state actors generally?
Well, thank you very much. The first thing anyone should think about before going to seek for any position, either elective or otherwise, is the fear of God. To the extent that I know that there will be judgment. If I go out there to tell lies and woo people to vote for me, and I made up my mind, or I have I have a different thought, a different plan, other than what I have told. Don't have a fear of God. I know that there'll be a day you will give account before the Almighty Jehovah. And of course, this issue of I will make it. So my advice to anybody seeking any position, elective position or otherwise, no matter how small the position, as long as it is rulership over some group of people, fear God and know that you'll be accountable one day for the way you govern them, the way you rule them, take care of them, or the way you do exactly the opposite of what you told them you're doing.
Having gone through a series of historical discussions with Dr. Grace Gunwa, more details about her personality of interest are here as we meet some of her relations and friends.
Dr. Grace Gunwa is my sister, is my political leader. She was my superior in the civil service, is a woman of very sound character, is a woman who commands the respect of people. She earns it, she lives it. Is a very disciplined human being, a woman of integrity.
I knew her in 1983. She was my boss in Ministry of Agriculture and Economic section, division. We are under her for many years until creation of states, 1991. She's very disciplined. She doesn't compromise. Whatever she wants to do in the civil servants, accordance to the rules and regulations, she will do it. She trained us to be hardworking. She's very hardworking.
Even now, in her relationship with people in the church, and in her choosing retirement career of bringing up young people.
Dr. Grace Gunwa has served in various capacities at the state and national levels, as well as internationally. Dr. Gunwa served as the first female sole administrator of a Jumu local government area and in Kogi State as a whole. She is presently an educationist, the proprietress of Living Springs Schools, Abuja.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News Mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the You Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app. Your access to real-time information.
What limits you? Nothing. Who defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live more.
Thousands of daily visitors, the city is set to be in a hurry almost round the clock. The bulk of the commercial activities therein is centered on creative entrepreneurial skills in diverse forms, from the metal fabrications to leather works of shoes and bags. Have you heard of made in Aba shoes? They are a sight to behold. The creative beauty put into it with what you may describe as a seamless effort, but that is only for the experts, as I tried to produce a pair that failed woefully. Now we know that it is easier said than done for the novice. How then do these experts get the job done?
The Aba people, God gave us special strength. No matter any quantity you will order now, we will make sure that will satisfy our customers.
Who really are their target buyers?
Nigerians are not patronizing our product. Instead of them patronizing what we are producing, Cameroonians, Togo, Ivory Coast, Abuja, all these African sub-Saharan countries, they are the people that are coming in here to buy our product because they know the value.
Is this business really profitable?
There's money here. There's money here. There's money. If the government can help us to move forward, we will turn the economy of this country round. We will not be mentioning anything like joblessness again. All these young school leavers who don't have jobs, you see many of them here. They will be flowing, and we'll be training them because the skill God gave it to us.
One thing that stands out are the labels on the products. All are foreign. I wondered why.
Whenever they come to know that you are the one that produced this one, sometimes they would not like to buy it. They prefer the ones they don't know the person that work it than the one they know the person that work it.
Their best shoes seem to be high in demand, especially within the west coast of Africa. What stands it out?
We are using two kinds of leathers. One is animal skin and a synthetic. It's Nigerian leather. Outside the country prefer this leather to those of their own leathers. As our women, they will tell you that is what we are hearing today. They are now preferring made in Aba to made in China because of its quality today.
Given the fact that this little town known as the Japan of Africa can well produce footwears for the entire Nigeria and beyond, what then is stalling the effort?
Shoe manufacturing is something that needs brain work. They should first of all talk about an environment, a place that is made, that is cited for leather and the garments. Provide us, if not another thing, let there be electricity, let there be empowerment.
They don't have the equipment. We are working too much with hand. So we are stressing ourselves.
Not long ago, the state government took a giant stride to build on the people's efforts. Some of the designers were sent to China to learn and acquire more skills and finesse in this area. What has been the effect on their productivity?
I improved in my production. People that have been buying my products before I went to China, and now they can see the difference. There's a whole lot of difference in my production. It has improved, the finishing, everything, the packaging is just superb right now.
Now, that is the language our youth should be speaking. Whatever it is what, we must look inward if we must develop our great nation Nigeria, starting from the Japan of Africa, Aba.
Did you get to see the way telling about the post this? Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, chow, and ish.
It's actually cool.
the ideal electoral, that is the can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of...
Congratulations, you were able to sign some of right from RB website.
You take water before you walk out.
At least that point, we need to talk to those that a lot of people don't even have resources.
You can't even hear the sound of a couple. I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. This broadcast is also being streamed live on YouTube and on our website nta.ng/live. Remember to also follow all our social media handles. Let's begin with the approval for reform initiative for the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, where the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the federal government has given approval. The minister announced this at the 49th annual general meeting of the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria in Lagos. Anthony Forson was there for NTA News.
In his paper titled The New World Order, Lai Mohammed disclosed that the reform initiative is to strengthen the advertising ecosystem, encourage inclusiveness, as well as attract investment to the industry.
My presence here underscores the vital role and startup of the advertising industry to our economy, to our creative industries, and to the government's efforts at providing the enabling environment and regulatory tools necessary for sustained growth in every productive sector of the economy. We believe professional bodies such as the AAAN need the vital support of the government to be able to offer the best, most effective, and unique solutions for the unique challenges that confront our nation in these very difficult times.
And as the world, he noted, is rapidly changing in its dynamics of opportunities and risks, relating with consumers in a data environment will bring brand consumers closer.
The same factors that have made this the best time for the economic exploitation of the creative sector are the same factors that have also created a great deal of competition. It's also this new opportunity of talking directly with consumers in a data-enabled environment has taken brands and entrepreneurs closer to their consumers more than ever.
I can tell you and testify today that behind the scene, the Honorable Minister has worked tirelessly for our industry in support of some of our policies. Right now we have the APCON law in almost the final stages, and he has been single-handedly instrumental in making sure that that law sees the light of day. So, Honorable Minister, Sir, Your Excellency, I think you've done us proud, and you've supported us in more ways than one, and we look forward to more support coming from your ministry.
The minister was accompanied by APCON Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Olalekan Fadolapo and the Director General NTDC, Olorun Koka. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The president of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has given assurance to United States investors that Africa is a secure, competitive and profitable market for investment. This was at the U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Marrakesh, where he urged American investors to see Africa as a logical investment destination and to engage with the continent in win-win partnerships. Justin Bem-Onyi reports.
Africa is ready. The U.S. is ready. Let us turn conversations into commitments. Let us turn commitments into investments.
More than 400 business and government representatives hinged discussions on building stronger U.S. and Africa trade, investment and commercial ties as the U.S. Corporate Council on Africa partnered with Morocco to organize the summit under the theme Building Forward Together. The event presented an opportunity for the African Development Bank's head to bear his mind that despite the disruptions of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on economies, the number of private equity deals in Africa increased from 230 in 2019 to 255 by 2020.
Africa, ladies and gentlemen, therefore offers a very profitable investment destination. Savvy investors know.
The AFDB president invited American businesses to invest in the opportunities created by the African Development Bank Group's $1.5 billion African Emergency Food Production Facility, designed to ease the impact of the current global food crisis worsened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Justin Bem-Onyi, NTA News.
Still on business, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has commenced talks with development partners aimed at strengthening the trade between Nigeria and West African countries. Comfort Amadou reports.
I used to pay for a basket of tomato last year. It was almost double or 3 times.
The global economic shocks as a result of rising inflation, dwindling oil revenues, and the war between Russia and Ukraine have compelled countries to develop various response measures to revive and sustain their economies. Nigeria, in response to these challenges, is diversifying its economy to keep up with the global economic realities by expanding Nigerian trade and brands to international markets and West African countries. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, one of the key drivers of non-oil export, is interacting with ambassadors, consuls of embassies, and development partners towards bridging trade gaps in the sub-region.
More trade with foreign countries, more forex, more stability of the naira.
These efforts of the Nigerian government to reinvigorate the non-oil sector and the country's economy are seen as timely and commendable.
Economy, trade, investment should be not only the main objective of diplomacy, but the main objective of all the states, the governments should go there.
We will continue to create opportunities and also ensure that we are providing the rights and appropriate export incentives
we are hoping that in the near future, we will be able to include South African exporters in one of these events, because South Africa and Nigeria are already working together in quite a number of areas that seek to bring social cohesion between the people of both countries.
The NEPC is also leveraging on opportunities in the AFCFTA to grow the country's foreign exchange earnings and access to international markets. In Abuja, Comfort Amadu, NTA News.
To food security now, Nigerian farmers are raising concerns over the recent situation as it affects food demand and supply. Consequently, rice farmers have signed a memorandum of understanding with international organizations with a view to increasing production and meeting local and regional demands. Musa Aliu reports.
Nigerian farmers are making effort to boost food production to meet the country's demand of staple food as the world faces distribution challenges due to the Russian-Ukraine war. This is further aggravated by communal clashes, banditry, and other environmental factors in other parts of the country. To this end, farmers under the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria have signed a memorandum of understanding with some international organizations with a view to boosting their production.
By the time Nigeria gets it right, we all know that the whole of West Africa and Africa gets it right. And that is why Syngenta concentrated on giving us a helping hand to see how we can maintain the successes we have achieved in the area of food security.
Farmers will be trained on smart agriculture, which will boost rice production not only for local consumption but for markets across West Africa.
It provides them a greater appreciation of the technical issues associated with water resource management, pest and weed control, and optimizing the potential for rice production in Nigeria.
The training taking place in Abuja also highlighted the need for not only Nigeria but West African countries to strategize and overcome overdependence on importation. Stakeholders say ECOWAS member countries can learn from the rice revolution of Nigeria.
We are here to really work with them and try to give substance to the program and the final touch of the design, the program collaborative efforts between these two organizations to truly implement the phase 2 of the rice revolution program of Nigeria.
This is the second capacity building workshop for rice farmers with a view to increasing yield. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Victims Support Fund has continued with its humanitarian services in the country by inaugurating 3 boreholes for the Okurike Akwagune community in Biase local government area of Cross River State. Ode Alenio reports that the non-profit foundation also distributed food items to vulnerable households in the community to cushion the impact of COVID-19.
Of the COVID-19 has practically affected people's livelihood, the economy, and all facets of human endeavors, particularly during the lockdown. It is against this background that a non-governmental organization, Victim Support Fund Task Force, moved to provide palliatives to the vulnerable ones in the country. And this time, some communities and households, including Okurke Agwagune community in Biase local government area of Cross River State, are among beneficiaries of boreholes, while others were provided with food items to maximize positive impact on the intended beneficiaries.
It's very important to ensure that you are meeting people at the point of their needs. In this project today, we're providing food and medical items to the good people of Cross River State. We are confident and counting on these partners to ensure that these food items actually reach the people that we intend for it to reach.
Food items, including medicals, worth millions of naira, were handed over to the Cross River State Ministry of Health for onward distribution to vulnerable households in some selected communities and health centers across the state.
This would definitely go a long way to help alleviate the sufferings
of Koshibarian.
I'll say a very big thank you for the VSF, the project that have brought to us.
Victim Support Fund Task Force is a non-profit foundation established in 2014 to help restore the livelihoods of victims of insurgency and to set the background for peace building in war-ravaged areas of the country. In Calabar, Ode Alenyo, NTA News.
On the security front, the Cross River State Police Command has rescued an undergraduate abducted from the campus of Arthur Jarvis University in Cross River State. The State Commissioner of Police, Aminu Al-Hassan, made this known in an interview with the NTA News crew in Calabar. Justina Etem reports.
Incidents of kidnapping had for about a year now been checked in Cross River State until the 19th of July 2022, when news broke out that kidnappers invaded Arthur Jarvis University in Abuja local government area, abducting a student while inflicting injuries on another who escaped being kidnapped. The student has been rescued as the police raided a creek where the abducted student was kept while two kidnappers were captured.
We proceeded to go from all the surrounding villages and the surrounding areas. And mark you, that Abuja is by the sea. We have a lot of creeks around the area. But luckily enough, we have started getting some information which led us to arrest 1-2 persons.
The police commissioner, who says the student is healthy and responding to treatment, urged the public to avail the police of useful information that will lead to the raid of criminal hideouts to ensure a secured environment. In Calabar, Justina Etem, NTA News.
Similarly, the Niger Police Command has arrested a suspected serial killer and notorious kidnap kingpin in the Kontagora area of the state. The suspect was reportedly arrested based on credible intelligence. Husseina Musa reports.
The suspect, Bashir Abdullahi, aged 40, met his Waterloo while planning to recruit armed men to perpetrate his usual nefarious activities. Do claim to be a retailer of farm inputs and machinery. He was allegedly caught in the act while arranging to kidnap his former local government council chairman and the father of a former commissioner in the state.
I was owing my business partners about 60 million naira and do not have the means to pay them back. This was what pushed me into committing the crime that brought me here.
Further investigations by the police revealed that the suspect murdered his younger brother in March this year after alleging that the deceased swindled him of the sum of 79 million naira and informed their family members that the brother was killed by bandits in a neighboring community.
His brother claimed that the business partners have come to collect the money, so he felt suspicious, and at the end of the day, he used a stick available within the area to hit his brother, which resulted in his death.
In another development, police tactical team also rescued 5 people unhurt out of the 9 abducted by bandits in Serkin Power, Munya local government area of the state. However, still on the trail of the hoodlums to rescue the remaining victims. Emina Husseina Musa, NTA News.
It's time to join our Lagos Network Center with Adiola. It's good to see you, Adiola.
Good to see you, Nadia, too. Welcome to Lagos. With many decades of gainful bilateral relations spanning cultural and economic ties, Nigeria and Brazil are on a quest to achieve more together, holding each other's hands in military cooperation. Consular General of Republic of Brazil to Nigeria, Ambassador Francisco Carlos Luz, expressed this optimism at the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy, where a visiting Brazilian naval ship is set for a joint drill and sea exercises. Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
A big part of the Atlantic Ocean, which incidentally borders both Nigeria and the Republic of Brazil, the Gulf of Guinea, and its